Hey there everyone, Scapegoat Stephen. We're back with another video and battle report. This time we've got Uncanny X-Men played by myself on the left of the screen and Guardians on the right of the screen. So let's dive straight into the list and take a look. Well, as you can see, I went wide. We've got 18 threat. Mutant Madman turns city centre into lethal amusement park and research station attacked. It's worth noting you'll see on the Guardians of the Galaxy roster both Medpack and field dressing are here. This was filmed a couple of months ago prior to the change. So for this game, with those cards are still in effect. So we have Storm, Beast, Honey Badger, Magik, Rogue, and X23 on my side of the field, and I bought First Class, Disarm, Indomitable, Journey Through Limbo, Xceptional Healing. My opponent bought Star-Lord, Groot, Hulk, Rocket, and Rogue. Deadly Duo, Disarm, Field Dressing, Medpack, and We Are Groot. Yes, that's a lot of healing cards. Boy, am I glad they're gone from the game. So I'm going to start by playing First Class. Standard opening move, I think, for X-Men, although this is, I think, my second ever game using them, so I'm getting a bit used to the way that the missions work. So I'm going to go with Magik. She's going to move, and she is going to grab that point towards the top of the screen, and then she is going to move in towards the center, getting ready for that ruck that always happens around the researcher. My opponent's then going to go with Groot. Does one move to there. Debate about where he moves the second one, but obviously he can't balance there. So in the end, he just goes for a double move to the center to tag the researcher. I'm then going to activate the real rogue, not the fake rogue that's hanging around with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And I am also going to double move to the center. My intent here being that I will bait out anything from my opponent to try and push me off that central objective with a character that's got -1 damage. But possibly not the best tactic. But again, second game with X-Men, just trying to get a feel for them. I actually really do like them, and I do want to go back and give them another go. So there, yeah, she just moves twice to the researcher. Star-Lord's going to move twice, just down towards the bottom of the screen. On top of that crate, and try and take that point, which he fails to do. There you go. Then I'm going to activate Honey Badger. Now Honey Badger is just going to run and plonk herself on top of the researcher, so that anyone who comes to the researcher will have to be within her sort of incinerate style aura. Fake Rogue's going to go. She's going to move, flip the point, and then move again, so that she's coming back towards the center of the board. Storm's going to go. There is a debate here about who I go with next. Do I push more stuff into the middle, or do I go for the objective? Now, it should be noted, I do completely and utterly forget that this objective is not the flip on energy, it's the flip on physical. So I do roll too many dice for Storm at this point, but she doesn't take it anyway, so it doesn't matter. She's then going to do a second move just to punt herself just like the other side of the portal objective. The Rocket Raccoon goes next. He's going to move once, and then he can take a pop at Rogue. Basically, he's put himself so he's within 2 of Groot, so that obviously Groot can shield any attacks coming in. So he's going to take a shot, and he actually gets 2 damage through on her. Bearing in mind that at the moment I have Storm's leadership, so one of my dice can become basically gives cover, and Rogue has -1 damage. So he does push 2 damage through. I'm then going to activate X23. Again, a bit of a discussion here about, do I activate Beast? Do I activate X23? Who's the best person to go with? I'm looking at this and going, he's only got Hulk. Hulk's only going to get, what, 1 attack, maybe a throw off, maybe a push. If I go and plonk X23 there, she's again contesting the researcher, causing models to be bumped into if he gets wild pushes and stuff with Hulk. So Hulk's going to go. Hulk's going to gamma leap, and then he's going to walk, and then he's going to punch X23. So yeah, as you can see there, he's stood right next to Honey Badger. again, there's a thing here about who does he go with? Who does he attack? Does he attack Rogue? Does he attack Honey Badger? Does he attack X23? Obviously, he knows we've got Exceptional Healing, but I haven't got the power to play Exceptional Healing at this point. So, unfortunately, he does punch X23, but only does 1 damage. Doesn't get enough power to then be able to throw anyone to get them off the point. Doesn't get the wild for the push. Overall, it was just really unfortunate set of dice rolls. So I'm going to activate Beast. Beast is going to move, and Beast is going to attack Groot. Because Beast does have a nice range 3 attack. Out of the choice between attacking Groot and Hulk, decided Groot because Groot has, the We Are Groot healing card and can heal himself. So I thought, let's go for it. They've got the same physical defense, and again, I want to try and get. If I get Groot off the table, it means you can target Rocket. So, ways quite useful. So we do manage when we eventually decide that we're going to do the attack into Groot. Again, a lot of chatter here about who's the ideal target. Who do I want to throw that early damage into? Because Beast then also places on a wild off that person. In hindsight, maybe I could have chosen my placement a little bit better here. Again, getting used to Storm's leadership ability and her ability to make you place a model off another model. All very useful. So Beast does 3 damage into Groot and does get the wild and does get the place. So it places within 1 of Groot. He then decides he doesn't want to stay there. So he is going to use Storm's leadership and he's going to place himself off X23. Now, partially my intent here was to try and pull the researcher a little bit back into safety towards me. So obviously got a bubble there between 4 characters that I can pop it in, although it is pulling it closer to my home research base. So it is dicey and a risky move, but again, I want to get a solid score. So yeah, very, very cagey turn 1, although everyone is getting stuck in ready for next turn. Not a lot of punches being thrown. I score 3, so I've got 2 off the researcher and 1 off the objective in the top left. My opponent gets 1 the objective in the top right, both of us failing to take the objectives nearest the camera. So 3-1 to the X-Men. Let's go into a very bunched up round 2. So round 2, Rocket's going to go first. Just so you can see, the researcher isn't using a researcher token. The researcher is buried under Honey Badger. So we put a research token. I think it's one of the Wakandan herb tokens or something. Either way, it's the right size token. It's next to Magik and Beast. So Rocket's going to go first. He is going to Deadly Duo with Groot. And he's going to target Beast, Honey Badger, and X23. So he goes into Beast. Obviously, Beast only got 2 energy defense. Somehow he only does 1 damage. A little bit unfortunate. He's then going to, I think he probably even uses his wing in it token there and fails to convert anything extra. Meanwhile, Honey Badger just takes a solid 4 damage to the face. Like, she is not happy about that. Yeah, doesn't bode well for her. And then into X23, he does nothing. Just a solid nothing. Really unfortunate, I think, to not have converted much there. So he's then going to Hadron Enforcer, Beast again. Does no damage to Beast again, but then he's going to clip everyone for 1 damage, bar Storm, that's surrounding Beast, because everyone was in range of that 1 damage. This does daze Honey Badger, unfortunately for me. So he's then going to activate, second action with Rocket, and he's going to Plasma Rifle into the real Rogue and does absolutely nothing. Again, really unfortunate there with some of those dice rolls. So I'm going to go Magik next, because I don't like the fact that Hulk stood here. So I'm going to use Storm's leadership, and then I'm going to use Journey Through Limbo, targeting Hulk. So we'll send him all the way over there, range 3, and we'll incinerate him, because I'd rather just slow down his ability to get multiple attacks into me each turn. We're then going to attack Groot and do 3 damage. So good, again, solid chunk of damage into Groot. We're then going to do a second attack into Groot and we will daze him. Again, she's got this nice sword that allows her to do mystic damage rather than physical damage. Really like Magik, actually. Want to get her back out on the table a bit more. She then spends 2 to use Limbo Step to place herself within 2. So again, back by the researcher. So Fake Rogue's going to go. She is going to move because she doesn't have enough to charge. She's going to move and punch the real Rogue. She does only 1 damage, but she does sap 2 of my power. And then it gives her, I believe, enough power to do a throw. And she's going to pick up the little digger that was behind my rogue and just slap my rogue down, dazes her with that digger. So X23, seeing that rogue has just taken that much damage, not happy about this, not happy in the slightest. She's going to hit Fake Rogue. I think partially what happens during this game is I get a little bit too embroiled maybe in the centre with attacking things rather than sort of concentrating on, well, there's no one up towards that top objective now, is there? Should really be sending someone up there. But yeah, as I said, X23 hits Fake Rogue, does 3 damage, and then does a second attack into her and dazes her. So again, that's what's that? Honey Badger and Real Rogue dazed, Fake Rogue and Groot also dazed in the early part of turn 2 already. So Hulk's going to go next, and again he's quite a distance away from everyone, so he's going to go for a walk. Then he is going to Gamma Leap and put himself there. He is then going to strike at Beast to try and push him away from the researcher. He does do 3 damage and gets that wild push. So we're just debating again here, what direction does he push Beast in? Because obviously if he just nudges him sort of towards the top of the screen, he's going to clip Magik. Or he's going to clip a piece of scenery next to the research base towards my deployment zone. So in the end, he decides to pull him over this direction. He's then going to pick up the cement mixer and throw it at X23. And unfortunately for him, he does only do that 1 damage. That assassin training comes in key, although it doesn't because it doesn't work on dodges, but you know what I mean. She's an assassin. She manages to dodge it coming in, or at least a lot of the damage coming in. Beast's then going to go next. He is going to acrobatic strike Hulk. Now, what I probably should have done is considered this bottom objective, down in the bottom right, what's that Star-Lord's on. I was thinking if I can bounce off Hulk and get that top objective and take it, it's easier to take and it's less likely for my opponent to be able to get anything there to take it. And it's a swing, isn't it? It gets me a point and reduces a point for my opponent. Doesn't quite work out like that in the end, because I strike Hulk for 2 damage, place within 1. I then do my spender into Hulk. It doesn't do any damage, but my move, I just haven't got the movement to get to that top objective. So there's a debate about where do I go with the move off the spender, and I think I just basically go back to where I was at the start of the round before Hulk came and did things to me. There you go, just around the other side of Real Rogue and Fake Rogue. So Star-Lord's going to go. He is finally going to flip that objective next to him. He's then going to move, and again, Beast is weak to energy, so he is going to Element Gun Beast and do no damage. Beast somehow surviving all this rain of energy attacks coming in at him at the moment. Thank you, Storm's leadership. So then Storm's going to go. She's going to fail to flip her own point, but she is going to move and flip that point towards the Guardians sort of deployment zone, bottom right of the camera. She then does an attack into Hulk, doing 3 damage and crucially the shock condition, which will then remove a die from the attack rolls for Hulk until he shakes it, or basically until he's dead. So quite a handy little thing. Again, it's only one die that it's less, but every little helps when Hulk's going to be doing loads of attacks into you. And then that's going to be the end of the turn. Again, I've got more models on the researcher, so let's score up. So solid 4 points there for the X-Men, 2 for the researcher and 2 for the objectives in opposite corners, and my opponent again scoring 1 for the objective in the top right corner. So going into round 3, my opponent has priority and Hulk's about to come out to play. So opponent is going to go with Hulk first, and he is going to eye up the real rogue because he does not like the fact that fake rogue has getting a bit of imposter syndrome. So Hulk is going to do his spender. He's going to Hulk smash my rogue, and he's going to do 4 damage, and the attack will auto stagger her. So it's quite a bit. He is then going to do a throw, and he's going to pick up my rogue and throw her into my Magik. In the end, only doing 1 damage on each of them. So you go, just a little boop. So it's 1 damage to each of them. He is then going to do a thunderclap, which hits pretty much everyone. It's like my entire team misses his rogue. Obviously doesn't hit my storm either, but it's going to do a total of 1 damage to beast. Again, surviving against all odds on these energy attacks. It's going to do 1 damage into Magik. It's going to do 2 damage into Honey Badger. In the end, I play Xceptional Healing on X23 because it gets 4 damage through on X23, which I am not a huge fan of. So I Xceptional Healing that down to 1. He's then the attack against Rogue. Honey Badger forces herself to take the attack instead, so she is going to just take a single damage. He is then going to pay to throw my Rogue, and Rogue is going to play Indomitable because she's not got enough health left to risk taking that. So yeah, this is unfortunately one of the side effects of bunching my team up so much, is it kind of gives my opponent a lot of leverage from throws, especially into each other. Again, didn't work quite so well for him, thankfully, but it could have gone, again, little bit dice spiking here and there, could have gone very, very differently. So I'm going to go next. I decide I've got to use my rogue before he takes me out. So my rogue and beast disarm fake rogue, and then we charge fake rogue. Maybe I should have charged Hulk. Perhaps that would have been a better option. But we do 1 damage to fake rogue on the charge, and then we'll throw that size 4 at her, and only do 2 damage, unfortunately. And we do an attack into fake rogue again. I forget because of where all the models were, and we didn't put a token out because Hulk did so much attack. I'm actually staggered at this point and shouldn't be able to make this second attack, which is unfortunate. I did do 2 damage from that attack. I shouldn't be able to do, and then I mutant absorption a couple of power off her, but not a lot. So Groot's going to go next. He's going to use his spender, and he's going to I am Groot, my rogue, and he's just going to straight up KO her from the attack. Should we note it has a throw, so he's going to throw her into Honey Badger, and he KOs Honey Badger as well. So he takes both of them off the board. So it's really good attack there. He's going to strike into Beast and do no damage. Because again, Beast at the moment is just on fire. And then he's going to Medpack his own rogue, and then he's going to disarm X23. So difficult choice here for me about who I go with. Probably should have gone with Magik, maybe, and then could have done some attacks or ran away with her ability to teleport all over the place. But instead I go with Beast and I attack my opponent's rogue, and I only get 1 damage, so it's not a lot. I don't get, that's why we moved the model back, I don't get the wild, so I shouldn't actually be able to place off his rogue. So I can't get to that objective with just a walk. So in the end, I should use Storm's Leadership just to like nudge myself, like half movement, to then be able to walk to the objective and flip the objective in the top corner. So opponent's going to go, he's going to activate Fake Rogue. She is going to Southern Hospitality, X23, and does 2 damage. He's then going to throw, because there's a throw attached to Southern Hospitality, he is going to throw her into Magik, and he actually dazes Magik, I believe. Oh no, sorry, only does 1 damage. He was aiming to daze Magik, but he only does the 1 damage. He's then going to punch Magik and do no damage. And then he's going to Mutant Absorption and take 4 power. Oh, not take 4 power, but remove 4 power off me. Off X23, just to reduce her effectiveness even further. So I'm going to go with Magik. She is going to attack Fake Rogue. And we are going to daze Fake Rogue. Just get her off the board. But that then gives us enough, sorry, not daze, KO Fake Rogue to get her off the board. She then got enough to use her Spender, so she's going to do that into Groot because he's within range, and that is going to do 3 damage, bleed, and incinerate. All very good on opposing model with decent physical defense. Actually, that incinerate very useful, and bleed never hurts to have that extra little bit of damage over the course of a game. So my opponent is then going to activate Star-Lord. Star-Lord is going to shoot Magik. And she hasn't got a lot of health left. So he does daze her with that, just that straight up that first attack. I don't think she rolled any defense either. So that dazes her immediately. There we go. There's the dice roll. So he dazes Magik. He's then going to do hit and run and make an attack into Storm because he's going after that researcher. And he does 0 damage in the Storm. Again, decent energy defense, and the fact that she's got the auto cover, I believe, from where we are. He's then going to move to the researcher with that move. Groot is going to play We Are Groot, which heals himself and Hulk. And then I possibly, well, no, I do make a mistake here, not from a rules perspective, but from a tactical perspective. I decided to double move. We have a discussion here about what should I do. Talk about, do I double move to the researcher and just block Rocket Raccoon being able to get there? Or do I move back to get this objective point? Because at the moment, if I move properly, I can stop Rocket getting to that objective and I stop my opponent scoring the researcher. Instead, I place myself in such a way that Rocket can still get to the researcher like a numpty. So that's exactly what he does. So he has 2 models versus my 1 model. Poor placement on my part. So yeah, I had an option there to stop my opponent scoring 2 from the researcher, which I didn't do. Not 100% sure that, but basically would have meant my opponent got no points there for that turn, and I would have got 3 still from the various objectives. But like I said, easy to do in something like MCP. Little placements, really important. So in the end, my opponent scores 2 for the researcher, and I score 3 for 3 of the Mutant Madmen objectives. So let's go into round 4. So into round 4, and I have priority now. Researcher is now moved right next to my home base. So not good. Luckily, I am a 10-4 lead at the moment, but let's see how that goes throughout round 4. So just checking on X23's Claw Rush and where she can move after she makes some attacks. So we're going to start by going for an attack into Star-Lord with X23. So do the attack, and we do manage to get through 3 damage. Because I think at this point X23 is maxed on power, I think. She was dazed and she had been building a little bit of power previous turns. So yeah, we do 3 damage on the first attack and you get a medium move after claw rushing. So I'm just going to move to the very edge of the 3 range on that, and then we're going to do a second claw rush and do 1 damage. So we haven't dazed Star-Lord from that, but then it allows us to move all the way out to the flank and try and flip this objective, which we do. Hulk's then going to activate, because why wouldn't you? Nice and early point of the turn. And he's going to Hulk Smash Storm with his big spender attack. So there's a bit of discussion here about whether or not my opponent attacks Magik or Hulk or Storm, but in the end he goes for Storm, as I said. He does Hulk Smash Storm and only does 2 damage. But then he just does a standard strike into Storm and he just dazes her just straight up. And then uses his final last bit of power to Gamma Leap himself onto the Researcher. Good looking getting that back, I think. Beast's going to go because he's got a range 3 attack, so he's going to attack Groot and he's going to do no damage with that first attack. Some discussion about whether or not I do try and go for Star-Lord, but I think Star-Lord just out of range at this point, so we go into Groot, just do the 1 damage, roll badly, opponent rolls good, you know, all that jazz. Second attack, I think we do no damage on that second attack, and do no damage on the first attack and 1 damage on the second attack. We then elect to throw Groot into Star-Lord and do absolutely nothing, no damage at all. So Star-Lord's going to go. He is going to use hit and run. My opponent does debate whether or not he goes Groot here to try and deal with Magik, but in the end he decides that Star-Lord is the right choice. So he's going to hit and run and shoot at Magik so that he can go for that objective in the top left. He does do 2 damage and then he moves to there. He spends and takes control of the objective. And then he is going to full auto with his remaining power into Magik and just straight up KO her, gets her off the table. It just leaves my opponent with Rocket and Groot to go. So Rocket is going to Hadron Enforcer X23 and just straight up dazes her with this attack. Just there she goes. And he's then going to shoot a Beast, which is a standard plasma rifle shot. And Beast once again proving that for some reason he, despite having 2 energy defense, is the most survivable against energy shots on my entire team this game. And but he do get the 1 damage through. He does daze Beast. Then Groot's going to move twice and flip that portal in the top right. So big swing this turn for the Guardian. 6-point swing there for the Guardians. Get the Researcher for 4 points, and they get the 2 objectives furthest away from the camera. Meanwhile, I only get the 2 closest to the camera, so it puts me to 12 and the Guardians to 10, and we're running very low on models, or at least one of us is. That one of us is me. Right, let's see what happens in round 5. So going into round 5, I have priority again, because my opponent keeps dazing me. Just picking up some of the tokens. And Beast's going to go first. My intention here is to try and take Star-Lord out and take that objective that Star-Lord is sat on, because I've got the 2 objectives, the bottom half of the screen. I kind of need to get into the top half to try and get some of those objectives, at least score me those last few points to take me for the win. There's no way I'm getting Hulk off the Researcher, let's be fair at this point. not with the fact that I've also got less models than my opponent. There's a lot of, can I get Storm in position to do her area attack so I can hit both Rocket and Star-Lord? The answer is no, not when I'm probably going to need 2 attacks to finish off Star-Lord. So in the end, I am looking at going with Beast. He's got range, doesn't need to move, doesn't need to use Storm's leadership, nothing like that to sort of kick off. So he's going to acrobatic strike Star-Lord twice and do absolutely nothing both times. My opponent manages to shrug off all the damage both times. So then I'm going to spend to throw Star-Lord to get him off the objective. Just throw him sort of away from the centre as well, so we can't really contribute to what's going on sort of over there. We do flip the objective, thankfully. Hulk's going to go next. Hulk is, he's just going to punch Storm. You know, she's right there. He doesn't actually have to move. And then just straight up KOs her. Just one shot. Gets her off the board, which obviously removes my leadership, removes anyone in the middle of the board either way. So it's not like I could have used the leadership anyway. What this does is leave him with a conundrum of, does he go after X23 or does he sit on the objective? Knowing that I can't kill Hulk, of course. You know, I can contest the objective, but that's it. In the end, nah, he's just like, I'll just stop. Just stay there on the objective, guarantee 4 points. X23 is going to go. She's going to move with her first action. And she's going to attack Rocket, which just daze Rocket, which is good. This is with I believe it's a Claw Rush attack, which means she needs to move medium off it. Because she dazed Rocket, she then uses the Frenzy ability, which gets, I think it's a small move and attack at the end of it, I believe. So she does attack into Groot. Unfortunately, just do the 1 damage, despite the fact that he's, you know, on fire and everything. It's just the 1. So Groot is going to go then. He's, you know what? He doesn't really need to go anywhere. I've only got 1 objective, so he's just going to punch X23. He does nothing on the first attack. She weathers that one pretty well, but then his second, just standard strike comes in, and he manages to do 4 damage. You know, quite a bit to poor X23 there. She's still alive though. He's then going to go with Star-Lord. He's going to element gun Beast, who finally, after putting up heroic last stand for many turns against all this energy, takes 3 damage straight away. He's then going to hit and run and shoot Beast again, doing another 3 and just KOing Beast. At that point, he's going to move onto the objective and flip it, taking the portal. That's going to be the end of the game right there. So final turn, I score the bottom 2 objectives, so just the 2 points for me, taking me to 14. My opponent scores the researcher for 4 and the top 2 objectives away from the camera for 6, taking him to 16. Even if we'd gone to round 6, I don't think I'd have had much left in the tank really to do anything, not unless X23 massively pops off and doesn't die with only 2 health left, which is very likely anyway. So for me, really enjoy playing X-Men actually, and I do keep looking at them again, thinking, oh, should I go back to them? And I think I will. I do enjoy playing sort of a very wide list with them. Same with Web Warriors of late. Just really enjoy it. So I'm definitely going to dabble a bit more. A-Force are still, let's be fair, they're still my tournament list. They're still my tournament faction that I really enjoy playing at events. I keep trying to step away from them, but they're just too much fun. So yeah, but I expect to see some more X-Men again at some point in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.